past the point of no return. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, July 2nd reveals Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, will regain consciousness after her surgery. Also coming up, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, will be suspicious of Matt Clark, Roger Howarth. Plus, Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, will recall moments with his estranged wife. And Dr. Stephanie Simmons, Vivica A. Fox, will continue to encourage Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, to return to medicine. YNR spoilers tease Stephanie will meet Nate at the GCAC. She'll say she just took Dr. Nottingham to the airport. Nate will say he wishes he could have been there to watch, while she was in the zone. Now for the Newmans, it's a waiting game. YNR Daily Scoop, Nate tells Stephanie he talked to every expert. Then he'll ask to buy Stephanie a drink. It's the least I can do for one of the heroes of the day. Stephanie will admit she loves being chief of staff. Nate will say he's happy for her. But he'll be surprised when she tells him she spoke to an orthopedic surgeon about his case. Nate will tell her there was no need, he talked to every expert available. Stephanie will point out that was years ago and there have been a lot of breakthroughs since. There's a chance that you could be a surgeon again, if that's what you want. But he'll say his life is good, challenging and fulfilling. I'll back off, but I'll text you the doctor's number, Stephanie will reply. Lily will show up and Nate will jokingly tell his cousin Stephanie's trying to poach him. So Lily will ask Nate if he's interested. Meanwhile, the Newman family will gather at the ranch, still waiting for news of Nikki's recovery. They'll be hopeful removing the mass will lead to her regaining her eyesight. Then they'll sit around talking about Nikki and how brave and strong she is. Victor will recall the time she was shot by Veronica Landers, and there'll be a flashback. Dad, don't you think you and Mom can get past your differences and find your way back to one another? Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, will ask. He'll ask why it's so important they reunite. Victoria will tell him the whole family is built around the two of them. But Victor will say the important thing right now is Nikki's recovery. Victoria and Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, will head to the hospital and Noah and Nick will stick around, complaining about Matt. Kane warns Matt about Victor Newman. I'm not convinced that Matt's innocent act was real at all, Noah will tell his grandfather. Victor will remind Nick that Matt saved his life. However, he'll add that if he doesn't provide him with any information about Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, he'll know he's lying. Speaking of Matt, he'll run into Kane and Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, at Society. Kane will introduce them and she'll say she heard he's a Newman family friend. Matt will tell Kane there's something that's been bugging him. He'd appreciate it if he'd take a minute to hear him out. I don't care about whatever story you and Victor have, Kane will reply. But Lily will say she's going to go, leaving Matt with Kane. He'll once again ask Matt why he wants to be friends with him. Whatever you want, just say it. Matt will tell him Victor doesn't trust him. He wants me to get close to you and figure out what your next move is, he'll add. I'm kind of like a secret agent. Kane will ask if he's really a friend of the Newmans. I think Victor's as interested in you as he is in me, maybe more, he'll add. But Matt will ask if he's coming after the Newman family again or not. Kane will say he's not going after Victor. But he'll also warn Matt to go back to wherever he came from. Because Victor's never gonna give you what he promised. Finally, Victoria and Claire will sit by Nikki's bedside and she'll eventually wake up. She'll ask Victoria what the surgeon said. Victoria will say it looks positive. But it's not a certainty, Nikki will reply. Then she'll reach out to touch her beautiful daughter's face, as Victor watches from the window on the door and flashes back to another moment with Nikki. What stands out to me is how quickly trust begins to collapse in this storyline. Nikki wakes up, Matt tells Kane he's Victor's spy. The first rays of morning sunlight filtered through the windows of Memorial Hospital, casting long streaks of gold across the polished floors. Nurses hurried from room to room while doctors reviewed charts, but one room had become the center of everyone's attention. Nikki Newman slowly opened her eyes. The world around her was blurry at first. Machines beeped steadily beside her bed as memories returned in scattered fragments: the surgery, Victor's worried expression, Victoria holding her hand, and Nick refusing to leave the hospital. "Nikki?" Victor's voice trembled. For a man known throughout Genoa City as fearless and unstoppable, seeing his wife unconscious had nearly broken him. Her eyes focused on him. "Victor." He squeezed her hand tightly. "You scared me." A faint smile crossed Nikki's lips. "I guess I'm tougher than everyone thought." Victor laughed softly, relief washing over his face for the first time in days. Outside the room, Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. Nick released a long breath. "Mom made it." Even Adam, standing quietly at the end of the hallway, smiled despite knowing the peace wouldn't last. Because another crisis was already unfolding across town. At Chancellor Industries. Kane Ashby stared out the office window. The company was finally beginning to stabilize after weeks of chaos, yet something still felt wrong. Every confidential meeting seemed to leak. Every negotiation somehow reached Victor Newman before anyone else knew. Someone inside his organization was feeding information to Newman Enterprises. But who? A knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in." Matt entered wearing his usual calm expression. "You wanted to see me?" Kane motioned toward a chair. "Sit." Matt remained standing. "I'd rather stand." The tension between them was immediate. Kane folded his hands. "I've trusted you." Matt nodded. "I know. I've defended you." "I know. So tell me why Victor always seems one step ahead." Matt looked away. Silence filled the room. Finally, he spoke. "You really want the truth?" "I wouldn't have asked otherwise." Matt inhaled deeply. "Because someone has been keeping Victor informed." Kane leaned forward. "Who?" Matt met his eyes. "I have." The confession landed like an explosion. Across town, Jack Abbott arrived at the Abbott mansion carrying breakfast for Diane. She smiled warmly. "I thought you'd forgotten." "I could never forget you." For the first time in weeks, the house felt peaceful. Kyle even joked with Claire in the kitchen. Ashley appeared calmer than she had been in months. Tracy smiled as she watched everyone laughing together. Maybe, just maybe, the Abbott family was finally healing. Unfortunately, peace in Genoa City never lasted. Jack's phone buzzed. He checked the screen. Unknown number. He answered. "This is Jack." The voice on the other end whispered only 4 words. "Victor knows everything." The line went dead. Jack froze. Back inside Chancellor. Kane couldn't believe what he'd heard. "You?" Matt nodded. "Yes." Kane slammed both hands onto his desk. "Why?" "I didn't have much choice." "You always have a choice." Matt shook his head. "Not when Victor Newman owns every secret you've ever buried." Those words changed everything. Kane slowly sat back down. "What secret?" Matt hesitated. "If I tell you, my life changes forever." Kane answered quietly. "It already has." Matt closed his eyes. "Victor found evidence linking me to something that happened years ago." "What happened?" "I made a mistake." "What kind of mistake?" "The kind that could destroy my career." Kane waited. Matt finally spoke. "I altered financial records." The confession stunned Kane. "You committed fraud?" "I corrected it before anyone lost money." "That doesn't make it legal." "I know." "So Victor blackmailed you?" Matt nodded. He gave me two options. What were they? Spy for him. Or lose everything. Meanwhile, Victor stood beside Nikki's hospital bed. She was growing stronger every hour. I want to go home. The doctor smiled. Not today. Nikki rolled her eyes. Everyone treats me like I'm fragile. Victor grinned. Because you are. I've survived worse. I know. She looked into his eyes. But something's bothering you. Victor didn't answer immediately. Finally. It's Kane. Nikki sighed. I thought this was over. So did I. What happened? I believe someone close to him is working for me. Nikki frowned. You believe? Victor smiled mysteriously. I know. At Crimson Lights. Nick met Sharon for coffee. You finally slept? Barely. How's Nikki? Much better. Sharon smiled. That's wonderful. Nick relaxed for the first time in days. Then his phone rang. Victoria. He answered immediately. What happened? Victoria sounded panicked. Dad just left the hospital. So? He looked furious. Nick frowned. Where's he going? I think he's heading straight for Kane. Nick stood instantly. This isn't good. Back at Chancellor Industries, Matt expected Kane to fire him. Instead, Kane quietly asked, Does anyone else know? No. Not even Lily? No. How long has Victor controlled you? Almost a year. Kane couldn't believe it. Every failed deal. Every lost opportunity. Every surprise attack from Victor. It all suddenly made sense. Matt lowered his head. I'm sorry. I never wanted this. Kane remained silent. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled. Matt stared. You're smiling? Kane walked around the desk. No. I think Victor just made his biggest mistake. Matt looked confused. What are you talking about? If you're finally telling me the truth, then maybe it's time we start feeding Victor exactly what we want him to hear. Matt slowly realized Kane's plan. A dangerous smile appeared on his face. You want to turn me into a double agent? Kane nodded. Exactly. Outside the office, neither man realized Victor Newman had just stepped off the elevator. And he wasn't alone. The elevator doors slid open with a quiet chime. Victor Newman stepped onto the executive floor, his trademark confidence filling the hallway before he even spoke. Behind him walked Michael Baldwin, carrying a slim leather folder and watching every corner with cautious eyes. The receptionist froze. Mr. Newman. Mr. Ashby is in a meeting. Victor barely looked at her. Not anymore. Inside Kane's office, Matt and Kane were finalizing their risky plan. If we're going to fool Victor, Kane said, every detail has to sound believable. One mistake, and he'll know. Matt nodded. I've worked for him long enough to know exactly how he thinks. Before Kane could respond, 3 sharp knocks echoed through the office. Neither man moved. Then the door slowly opened. Victor walked in. The room instantly became silent. Victor's piercing gaze shifted from Kane to Matt. He noticed the tension immediately. I hope I'm not interrupting. Kane forced a polite smile. Victor, you never interrupt. You usually arrive exactly when you intend to. Victor chuckled. That's one of the reasons I've stayed successful. Michael remained near the door, observing every reaction. Victor stepped closer to Kane's desk. "I came to congratulate you." Kane frowned. "For what?" "For surviving another week in business." The remark carried a sharp edge. Kane folded his arms. "You didn't come here for congratulations." "No." Victor's expression hardened. "I came because someone has forgotten where his loyalty belongs." Matt's heart pounded. Was Victor talking about him? Victor slowly turned toward Matt. "You've been difficult to reach today." Matt answered calmly. "I've been working." "So I see." Victor studied his face for several long seconds before smiling. "I'll expect my report tonight." Without another word, Victor turned and walked toward the door. Just before leaving, he glanced back at Kane. "You should be careful who you trust." The door closed. Only then did Matt let out the breath he'd been holding. He knows something. Kane stared at the closed door. He suspects something, but he doesn't know everything yet. Across town, Memorial Hospital was much quieter. Nikki had been moved to a recovery suite, where Victoria, Nick, and Adam gathered around her bed. "You all look exhausted," Nikki said with a weak smile. Victoria laughed softly. "We've been taking turns worrying." Nick squeezed her hand. "You gave us quite a scare." Adam stood silently near the window. Nikki noticed. "Adam." He turned. "Yes?" "Come here." He hesitated before walking over. Nikki reached out and took his hand. "No matter what happens between you and your father, you're my son too." Adam swallowed hard. "I know." For a rare moment, the Newman family shared genuine peace. But it didn't last. Victor entered the room. Everyone immediately sensed something had changed. Nick spoke first. "Dad, what's wrong?" Victor looked directly at Nikki. "I just visited Kane." Nikki sighed. "Please tell me you didn't start another war." Victor's answer was simple. The war never ended. Meanwhile, at the Abbott mansion, Jack couldn't stop thinking about the mysterious phone call. "Victor knows everything." Those 4 words echoed in his mind. Diane noticed his distant expression. "What is it?" Jack hesitated. "I think someone is trying to warn us." "About Victor?" Jack nodded. "Or about something even bigger." Just then Kyle walked into the living room. "You two should see this." He held up his phone. A business news alert flashed across the screen. Chancellor Industries stock surges after rumors of major investment. Jack frowned. "That's impossible." Diane looked confused. "Why?" "Because no investment has been announced." Jack suddenly realized something. Someone is manipulating the market. Back at Chancellor Industries, Matt stared at his phone. One unread message. From Victor. "Meet me. Alone. 1 hour." Matt's stomach tightened. Kane read the message over his shoulder. "He's testing you." "I know. If you don't go, he'll become suspicious." "And if I do?" Kane smiled slightly. "Then our plan begins." Matt nodded. "What exactly do you want me to tell him?" Kane walked toward the window overlooking Genoa City. "You'll tell Victor that I'm desperate." "That's believable." "You'll tell him Chancellor Industries is running out of options." Matt smiled. "He'll love hearing that." "And most importantly," Kane turned around, "you'll tell him I've found a secret investor." Matt looked surprised. "But there isn't one." "Exactly." Victor would immediately begin searching for a mysterious investor who didn't exist, wasting time and resources while Kane quietly prepared his real strategy. Matt couldn't help but grin. I almost feel sorry for him. Kane laughed. Don't. Later that evening, Matt arrived at the rooftop restaurant where Victor was waiting. The city lights shimmered below. Victor didn't waste time. What have you learned? Matt took a careful breath. Kane is in trouble. Victor's eyes narrowed. Go on. Cash flow is tighter than he's admitting. Victor nodded. I expected that. Matt continued. He's counting on a mystery investor to save the company. Victor leaned forward. Who? Matt shrugged. He hasn't told anyone. Victor remained silent. Every instinct told him there was more to the story. Finally he smiled. Find out. I will. As Matt walked away, Victor watched him carefully. Something felt different. Victor whispered to himself. If you're lying to me, Matt, you'll regret it.